Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we, took care of a few missions that involved dragons. One involved looking at, well, clearing out what seemed to be a graveyard of dragons, or at least a place where they fought. And then we ended up, finding a golden dragon who said we had a spirit of a dragon inside of us. I think Ivu was relatively happy with that. Either way, with that taken care of, I think we're going to, since we're down in the southern regions, I think we're going to go take a look and see what we can find around here. I think there's a few locations we can investigate. Yeah. Let's see what's going on around here. We've got a burned down shack and befouled barrows, and that's actually about it. Huh. I expected more. Either way, let's start by going to the burned out shack. Oh look, time has passed. Something is happening here. Ah, we can get more Yama Azadas. Go ahead, issue the decree. 2 days, that's fine. 2 days for that. Don't we have a rank up? I think we may have already done a rank up. And we do have a mysterious visitor, but we'll deal with that soon. Let's just deal with these first. Yeah, let's go ahead and rest. Sounds like a good idea. Begin resting.
Fine, so you ate rats and moss and things like that. Well, once when there was nothing else to eat, my old gran stole a rotten fish from the market and made a soup with it. What do you make of that, eh?
You get that this isn't a competition, right?
I was just about to say, Lan, why are you really trying to do a who had it worse competition? Oh, Woljif. Okay. Oh, right. Since a day passed, let's see if we can take out this demon army. I'm going to drop a save before we try this. Alright, demon army, let's try and clear you out so we don't have to deal with you anymore. That would be a wonderful thing. Surely this won't take too long. Weird, but okay. Okay. Fireball. Did quite a number. You can take out a lot of this succubi. And some more. Oh, you can go again. Please do. And the paladins were charmed. Well, they're the weakest group. Wow. Okay, I don't think we're ready for this. Right, so this group is a bit too strong for us at the moment. Their archers were surprisingly damaging, they charmed one of us, and those cavalry can get pretty far. We are gonna need to strengthen Setsuna a bit more. Alright, you. Do we have any other armies? Yes, we have these two armies. I mean, Setsuna might be able to take care of them. We'll give it a try. Leave that army for now. We'll clear it out later. Alright. Burn down shack. Collect. And then we have the befouled barrows. Evade the enemies, no big deal. Another day has passed. What's happening back here? A progressive alchemist by the name of Zagelforns ran a series of experiments in an attempt to improve the potion of legendary proportions. But something went wrong. The soldiers who tasted his creation cannot return to their natural form and have grown quite dim. However, the alchemist assures everyone that no harm has been done, since giants are more useful than ordinary soldiers. And the usefulness of intelligence in a soldier is debatable in the first place. So they can perform heavy labor, increase materials points income, cure them, which crusade morale increases, use them in battle, get 2 giants, blech, found a separate settlement. Materials points income increases, lose some logistics experience. How is our logistics experience? We have reached the next level, which means the logistics reform can be done in one more turn. But I don't like the idea of losing logistics, so we'll send them to perform heavy manual labor. That way we'll get another materials points income. Giants are the ideal candidates for heavy labor. For example, their contribution will be invaluable in the efforts to clear the bed of the West Selen River. This effort will make supply deliveries from Canabras easier. The alchemist Zagelthorn strongly endorses this decision. Okay. Now, as we were doing, Setsuna, continue onwards. Okay. And let's see what we can do here at the Befouled Barrows. Iridescent streaks appear in the bilious violet sky above the deserted lands. The streaks are not like an ordinary Galarian rainbow. They look more like oil dropped in water. The sweltering haze in the sky seems to waver along with the streaks. Time and again, one of the commander's party spots some movement out of the corner of their eye and reaches for their weapon, only to immediately realize they were mistaken. The ground underfoot turns a muddy gray, covered in a dense layer of ash expelled by geysers. Curious natural phenomena not uncommon in these parts. In the distance, barrows can be seen, appearing only as vague piles of rocks in the haze. The wind whips clouds of ash into the faces of the commander and her party. Along with the ash, the wind ushers in ragged gray clouds that shroud the sky. A giant eye of cloud unblinkingly watches the commander and her party from above. One can only imagine how insignificant the creatures struggling across the land must seem from such a height. In the break in the clouds, the white of the sky's eye pulses, ready to burst like a boil. The dark cloud of the pupil grows blacker still. The commander decides to try to recall any previous mention of such a phenomenon. Nenio recalls conversations with seasoned crusaders. If a giant eye appears in the sky, you must run and not look back. According to witnesses, what follows such an omen is so horrific that it can rob a newcomer to the Worldwound of their sanity. Study the shape more closely. Lan observes that in this wind, the ordinary storm clouds cannot coalesce into clear shapes. The air throbs with peril. This is no mere storm. What's brewing is something brought by the abyss and possible only in the wound. Lan recalls conversations. Make for the barrows, the only cover in the middle of the wastes. Living creatures can be beaten, but one cannot conquer a force of nature. The commander decides to run for cover. The party manages to reach the barrows before the storm swells to its full force. Something suddenly drops from the sky, landing with a splat at the commander's feet like an overripe fruit. It is white, about the size of a chestnut. It has a dark center, and the longer the commander stares at it, the more it seems like something is staring back. The fruit looks disturbingly like an eyeball. The whirlwind of ash stops the party from looking up to see what is happening in the sky. Perhaps a carrion bird was transporting its already rotting prize home. At least, that's what all the companions are hoping as they cluster around the milky white eyeball. A second eyeball lands nearby with an unpleasant squelch, leaving only a bloody splash on the ash-covered ground. 2 eyeballs cannot be a coincidence. The looming rocky ledges, which give the barrow the appearance of a hill, look like they could come crashing down on the party's head at any moment. However, they do offer protection from the storm. The horrific hail misses the party almost entirely, and eyeballs land around them in a wet cacophony. The land around the barrows looks more like a dumping ground than a burial ground. The storms have bleached skulls and bones, rusted armor, and dented swords. This is a familiar sight. More surprising are the arms and legs of golems scattered around the waste, the once snarling faces of animals that now lack all resemblance to their living brethren, things that look like horse carcasses but with broken mechanical legs. Everything is brown with rust and long forgotten. A battle was fought here once. Through the veil of ash, the party struggles to find the entrance to the barrow. Hastily feel along the walls, remembering acknowledge everything that is known, focusing... Okay, that's a guaranteed fit. Success. Focusing on the traces of magic. Nenio senses the traces of generations upon generations of Sarkorians performing rituals between and inside the burial mounds to grant their ancestors peaceful slumber. The magical signature unerringly leads her to the entrance. An ash-darkened piece of the casing that covers it crumbles under the slightest pressure. The mouth of the barrow is cool and smells of damp and dust. More of the ash lies underfoot, pressed into a glossy, slippery crust. It is clear that the barrow has been constructed above a cave system. The deliberately carved-out corridors stretching off into the barrow's depths leave room for natural passageways. The wind, wailing through the stalactites in the dark, carries a strange sound similar to a desperate human cry. Help me. Help me. The party strains to hear and decides to find out who the voice belongs to. The longer Nenio listens, the more the voice changes. One moment it sounds like the desperate cry of a child, the next the piercing, ragged scream of a woman, the next birdsong. It cannot be ruled out that she is hearing only what she wants to hear. Well, we need to find out what's going on here. Go toward the voice. Falai cannot ignore the cries for help, and the party rushes toward the sound, frequently looking around for enemies or traps. A strange thing. The closer they get to the voice, the less distinct the pleas become, blurring into the grinding screech of a rusty mechanism. The only passage leading further into the barrow finishes in a dead end. A spacious cave, its walls decorated in frescoes that have almost entirely faded over time. Before the companions have a chance to decide whether to look for a door or run back, the cave floor, which seems solid with well-trodden ash, vibrates and begins to ripple like water. One after another, the commander's companions are sucked into the thick, ashy mass like they have stepped into quicksand. Commander tries to grab hold of projections on the wall. The party notices fissures in the nearest wall and tries to grab onto the cracks to climb out. The commander's companions hang suspended above the quagmire for a time, but they cannot move any further. There are no other ledges on the wall to grab onto. Even the strongest party members begin to lose their grip and gradually slide back down. Run for the exit. The party floats in the quick ash like in water and manages to slow their sinking with precise measured movements. They maintain their composure, giving them time to think about what to do next. Assess the situation. The party begins to panic when they see nothing to grab onto, but the more they struggle, the faster the quagmire pulls them under. The party has tried everything it can. The only option left is to accept its fate. Those who wish to speak barely have time to say their goodbyes. We rolled a 2! The party stops struggling. Ash and black goop clog the companions' lugs, poisoning and suffocating them. The party is instantly covered in a layer of ash. The quagmire's grip seems to suddenly vanish. The commander realizes she is in free fall, but it's too late to do anything. She has no time to brace herself, and it is only a spear sticking out of the dark that ironically saves her from certain death. It rips through her clothes, drawing blood and leaving her suspended in midair. Suddenly, everything jolts into action. Dozens of daggers, saws, swords, and spears spring out from all sides, whistling through the air. But this is no enemy ambush. The weapons are being brandished by the pistons and loudly scraping gears of a giant mechanism. The spear that saved the commander was so rusted in its piston that it is no longer able to move. The party has found itself in the heart of a giant metal flower growing up out of the ashy quagmire covering the floor. The Uranag, built by the Forges of the Abyss, tries to close its petals, crushing, mashing, and cutting its victims to pieces, but years of lying dormant in the darkness have taken their toll. Its articulations move with such a soul-shuddering screech and become easily jammed. The mummified bodies of unlucky crusaders can still be seen hanging up, speared on rusted blades. If the commander wants to avoid their fate, she must figure out what makes it move. Even a magical mechanism is still a mechanism. From above, the commander has a good view of the Uranag's inner workings. Large, toothed wheels are set into motion by gear shafts. It all becomes clear. If the gear shafts can be jammed, the movement will stop. The commander is almost out of time. Another few minutes and it will all be over. Realizing that a simple escape is impossible, the commander decides to try jamming the Uranag's main mechanism in the heart of the flower. She looks around for something sturdy and finds a hammer in the hands of a dead paladin. The commander is almost out of time. Another few minutes and it will all be over. Realizing that a simple escape is impossible, the commander decides to try jamming the Uranag's main mechanism in the... Okay. The body of a paladin, clutching a warhammer in his hands of bone, hangs from one of the Uranag's hammers pointing directly upward. The commander is lucky that this warrior chose to meet his death with weapon in hand. The commander drags the body toward her and grabs the hammer, but the Servant of Light's grip is still surprisingly strong and refuses to relinquish the weapon. The bone arms are easily ripped from the skeleton's shoulders, still holding the hammer. The commander tosses the lot into the heart of the Uranag. The hammer falls, sparking off the gears and getting stuck between them. With a furious screeching and scraping, the Uranag tries to grind up the hammer, but it cannot. A tremor travels up the pedals. There is a deafening cracking sound, and the Uranag stills forever. After carefully extracting themselves from the clutches of the broken Uranag, the commander and her party find themselves up to their knees in ashy sludge once more. But this time it only harmlessly squelches under their feet as they walk. A dark breach yawns before them, and the cry the commander heard at the entrance of the barrow rises up again. Help me. Since there is no other route, the commander decides to pray for the dead Crusaders. The commander offers up a prayer, thanking the Crusaders who helped their fellow soldiers even in death, and asking for forgiveness for not treating their bodies with the respect they deserved. She feels warmth suffuse her, like the dead truly are with her, and are wishing the party good luck on its onward journey. After all its ordeals, the party finally goes up to the surface and emerges in a small chamber. Pipes protrude from numerous openings dotted all over the walls, and they connect to a small box adorned with Baphomet's symbol. The box cries out, producing high, plaintive noises that, when carried through the pipes, begin to sound something like, "Help me." The commander knows that this is just another demonic mechanism created to lure Crusaders into the barrow. She smashes the box, scattering small bolts and gears across the room. Silence reigns. There are no secrets left in this place now. Alright, and I think that's all we can really do down here. How much more do we have to this place? We've been to Arilu's laboratory, we've been to the mines, we've been through all this. There's bones in a pool of mud way up there. That's a quest we can't do. That's something we can't do. Everything's done over here. We've got the Murky Grotto. Crimson Dust is probably something to pick up. Sacred Lands and Blackwater. We've cleared most of the locations we have around here. Alright, let's head back to Dresden. Head to the streets. I think we have some loot that we can sell. And we've made it back. Okay. There wasn't any levels. Let's see here. We do have a bunch of loot. Ardent Warpriest, no. Composite Longbow, Glaive. Elven Notes we gotta hand in to someone. Heavy Shield, Longsword, Quarterstaff, Tower Shield. What do you have as a shield? Divine Protector, you can keep that. That. Ooh, Bane of Flesh, right. That is a fantastic ring that I want. I do want the Bane of Flesh instead of the Ring of Summons. Because, yes, it's a +2 to weapon damage and +2 on saving throws against attacks. Nice as it is, Bane of Flesh is going to be so useful. If we hit 0 hit points, well, we will not die and we'll just summon some skeletal champions. That's a wonderful thing. So this ring... You know what? I can give it to you instead of Flow of Water. I'm fine with that. And you can have Flow of Water. No other reason to have that. I don't think... Oh, Nenio can learn Heroism and Icy Prison. And you can't learn anything. Alright. Let's head up here, sell the various loot that we happen to have. Seems like the right thing to do here. Oh, Wilster Garms. Bulk selling. Then we want to sell that, and all of these. Yeah, don't need that brandy. Ardent War Priest is not useful to us. And there we go. Then I just need to put all these scrolls up at the top. So there, and there. Perfect. And let's hand in these elven notes. Found a page that might interest you. And there's nothing else. Nothing to investigate there. Alright. Actually, hold on. Oh, the encounter in the Dragon's Lair, never mind. Is there anything else we did that's notable? Okay, Lesser will come later. That's Secrets of Creation. Ivory Sanctum, Missing Scouts. Blackwater. We do have Midnight Isles. We can do that next. Mythic quests are nothing. Maximize all Crusade stats. We're almost there. Then restoring, and Pursuit of the Past. So nothing really notable there. Ember, did we talk to you after we saved you? I don't know if we did. Possible we didn't. I think we did. Okay. And one other thing I'm curious about. I want to see if Nenio has something to say regarding a new thing to do. It's possible she doesn't, but I'm curious. Because if she does, it's very entertaining. Second floor.
I'm gone.
Oh, check out this mask I found. There's writing on the inside. Nenio snatches the mask from your hands and examines it from every angle. It looks like an average mask. Smells like mold. Tastes like... Yuck! Disgusting. The eye holes are... She puts the mask on and looks at you through it. Utterly unremarkable. And yet, I sense some hidden magic in this mask. I'd bet my encyclopedia that it must be the answer to one of the riddles of those statues in the Nameless Ruins. The writing on the inside looks very much like one of the answers. All we have to do now is find 4 such masks and bring them to the statues. You won't forget to take me with you when you head to solve the statues' riddles, will you? Better write it down somewhere. Nenio is extremely interested in visiting the Nameless Ruins after you find all 4 masks. Yep. We will indeed find those masks later on. Alright. And with that, I think I'm going to have to end this episode here because we're about to do a bit more management with the Crusade. I think we have a staff meeting to do, and in a couple days we'll have a logistics meeting to do. So it's fine that we can do that. Then after that, we'll go investigate the Murky Grotto. And yeah, that should be interesting stuff. But that'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is me. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. And I shall see you all next time.